things. We wanted to keep present here in Des Moines, in the area here. It's a real opportunity for
Thanks,
us
Matt.
to get down here. And I think this worked out really beautifully, starting with the Johnson School District. They couldn't have been more gracious and hospitable, so we really appreciate that. This has got to be the nicest 8th grade field in the country, I'd imagine. So it worked out beautiful from that standpoint. They really opened the doors for us and made it really easy. And then, it's twofold for us. It's a community service initiative for our players. Basically a senior project. We had a couple younger guys jumped in. And then the other thing is just a chance to work with youth. And I think that's always fun for our guys. I think they enjoyed it too. The campers, but the instructors, I think, had maybe every bit as much fun. So, they all grew up doing the same thing. A lot of those guys can identify certainly with the campers, and it's just a win-win situation.
Yeah, it sold out within like a couple hours, I think. Just how about just the response?
When it's free, it always sells out a little bit quicker.
Oh, is it free? I didn't know that.
So absolutely
okay,
free
wow.
camp.
I didn't know that.
Free camp, and again, it was just a chance for us to maybe to get back a little bit and to do it in Central Iowa. I think it's a good thing. Although I just talked to one dad. They came from Bettendorf. I think we've got them from all kinds of towns here. Anita, someone who knew Christy Young, actually, coincidentally. So I met people from all over that have come here, and it's just it's a good thing.
You surprised to get an offensive line question?
Yeah, not many of those, right? Yeah. It was an easy question, though. Kind of lineman we like. That's easy. One's a block. So that was a softball.
When you see your players engaged like that, I'm sure as a coach, as a leader of men, it makes you feel good to see another generation pass it along.
Yeah, I think it's always good to remember where you come from, and especially if you're, most of us in coaching get into coaching because somebody helped us along the way, and I think that's certainly true with the athletes. If they have supportive people around and people that encourage them a little bit when they're young, that certainly helps the growth curve.
So you got a Super Bowl question for me?
I did, yeah. It's a little bit of a, got a little educating to do on that one, but
something for the helmet.
Something to shoot for. Yeah, a Super Bowl, something to shoot for.
And then you got a couple of volunteers who want to help you beat Penn State.
Well, he wanted to know how we're going to defend him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if he thought it was going to be easy since Barkley's not there or not, but I wish it was that easy.
Should slide that kind of note.
Wish it was that simple.
You did mention the quarterbacks.
Yeah. That guy's still there.
Yeah. Matt Nelson was out here. I mean, how's he progressed through the spring, and will he be okay by August?
He'll be fine. Yeah, Matt should be full speed when we get going in June. And to that point, we just finished up yesterday. It was the last day of testing for our guys. So they were in a 2-week cycle after spring practice finished. Matt will be full speed when we get back. They've got a 3-week break here, and we'll start in June. And he should be good to go. And he just compliment him. He did an unbelievable job this spring practice. We kind of excuse him from one day of activity just because he's getting ready for MedCats right now, and that's no easy task. But really did a good job mentoring. As you know, we were moving guys around this year in camp or in spring ball. So he really helped the guys trying to learn how to play inside because he went through that same transition recently. So I can't say enough about his engagement. That's just the kind of kid he is and the kind of teammate he is.
That had to be frustrating because I think it's like walking off the field in New York with his shoulder hanging down, and then last year he missed it with the ankle.
A foot, yeah. So basically the foot he had is what Parker has right now, and I've said it many times. It'd be a great game if nobody ever got hurt. But that's just inherent to the game, unfortunately, and it's one of those things. But he's going to work through it, and he'll be fine. And good news is they can repair those things, and they're very predictable in the outcome.
One element that this is the community service stuff. Players talk about how that it's a points thing and how it's tied into the Hawkeye competition, the Hawkeye Challenge. Mm-hmm. But still, it's a huge element of what you guys do. How do you encourage the guys? And is that on their own time? Is it kind of like film, or how does that go?
There's a mix. And really the initiative began in 2008. It's when we created the position Director of Player Personnel, which Chick was the first guy to really take that and grow it. Now Broderick's taken over for him. But that's when the whole initiative got going. And, so the idea was to just incorporate this into our curriculum, if you will. Basically from January to August. So the guys have opportunity to do things on their own that aren't mandated, but we've always mandated projects for each class. And up until this year, the senior project has been doing Camp Courageous. It was 8 years ago or 9 years ago. We went up to Monticello, and we all decided it'd be better for the campers to come to our building and facilities, and they love that. So that was last Saturday. We transitioned that just to volunteer activity now. and made this a senior project. But we had a couple guys still jump in, and they probably wanted to get that good meal coming over and getting going back, you know. But you know, it's a you know, we just want the guys out doing things. I think it's really good for them, good for their education.
You look at last weekend, you had 3 guys drafted, and you had several, you know, in camps, one way or the other. I mean, you know, what are your thoughts on that, on those guys like Akram not getting drafted, but then, you know, Bo Bauer going with it, and some of the others I assume are still trying.
They are, and you know, there's a lot of ways to get into the league. It's tough to get in, first and foremost. The draft itself is extremely unpredictable. It's been that way every year, and will continue to be. So, yeah, the bottom line is you got to get into a camp. That's first and foremost. And you know, our son James went through that deal where he did two different tryouts, didn't make either of them, and then spent a year trying to get back in. And to me, that's kind of what your 20s, especially your early 20s, are for. Most of us didn't know we were doing that anyway. And then, you know, at some point you turn towards your life's work. But all those guys have really good opportunities right now. I think they're all in good spots. And typically the guys that should make it, and the guys that don't, you know, just kind of the process of the whole thing. But it's still about what happens afterwards. You know, it's really what's going to count. Not many of the guys are going to play, you know, 10 years like Greenway or 11 like Babineau. And it was fun today. You know, the beauty of college athletics, in my mind, talking to Miguel Merrick out here, who coaches in this area and is a resident here. So I just assumed maybe his wife was from this area. She's actually from Portland, Maine, or Oregon, excuse me. She's from Portland, Oregon. She was going to law school at Drake. They met here. His job brought him here, so he was living in the Des Moines area. And so you got a guy from New Jersey, married a woman from Oregon, and they live in Des Moines. And have 3 kids here, and they're doing great. So he's doing really well in his professional life. He's also coaching in high school, and to me, that's, you know, after the pro football stuff all comes and goes, you know, that's really kind of what it boils down to. That's the beauty of it all.
I know you're trying to get that.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Drew.
I haven't heard him getting in traction, and to me, you know, it's easy for me to say I'm not coaching in the NFL. I think he'd be really worth looking at, in my opinion. I mean, really a lot of upside there.
The Black Friday thing just keeps coming and coming.
What's the latest?
Nebraska,
sounds like you know something I don't know. Yeah.
Nebraska wants to return and play you
Right,
again on Black
right.
Friday after the last administration opted not to. I mean, do you have a preference at all?
I personally think it's a great thing. We were appreciated being invited to the party, whenever that was, and we didn't fare so well early, but to me it just makes sense. And obviously with Nebraska moving into the league, it seemed like it was a logical thing. You know, it seems like it worked okay at Ohio and Michigan have something going. They've had something going for a long time. They got their own exclusionary clause, I guess, with the league. But yeah, to me, it would make sense for a lot of us to finish up with that kind of deal. And I feel it's unfortunate that it got moved away. We moved away for whatever reason from it. Hopefully, it sounds like we're going to rekindle it, right? Whatever year that is.
I know you got Wisconsin for 2 years.
Okay, I think after that, I think we're back, you know, together, and I think it's maybe a long-term thing, but I thought the last one was long-term too, so we saw how that turned out. I haven't figured out our scheduling. I have no clue. I've been 19 years in the league. I still don't know how our scheduling works.
You had several players here who came as walk-ons with no guarantees. They're kind of a perfect example for some of these young kids, right? In life in general, everything's not given to you, and you got to earn what you get.
They really are, and all the guys who become seniors at our place, that's really what happens. You know, they work hard to get that far, and you know, whether it's a high recruited guy, I can't even think of who the most high recruited guy out here, but a guy like Jake Travas, who came as a walk-on, that has done everything, you know, we thought he might be able to do. He's done it in an exemplary fashion. He's a tremendous leader for us. He's played well on the field, but a tremendous leader, and you know, really having a nice career. Miguel has really blossomed. You know, Keegan and Ross are both scholarship guys, but to see the development and how they look now compared to 5 years ago and the way they've grown.
Brink's an easy couple of guys.
Sam's another guy, you know, and then yeah, Nick has just kind of dropped out of the skies too. So those are all things that, you know, it makes it fun, and it's always fun to see how things come together with the senior class. All of them have different stories, and most of them are pretty good stories typically. Too bad Nick didn't have his jersey. He left last night, I guess, came over.
Oh.
That's what happened to him. He was the odd man out.
Was it important for you to do something in Central Iowa this spring, since you went away with that West Des Moines practice?
Yeah, I think it's something I don't want to sign a contract to it. Getting back to the Friday, Black Friday, what do they call it, Black Friday, whatever. I thought that was a signed contract, and apparently it wasn't. But anyway, that's our intention. We came up with that idea however many years ago. Just think it's good for us to have a chance to get over here, and really it's just a nice way to say thank you, say hello, and say thank you to people in this part of the state. We got people traveling from all over our state, 5-6 hours to come to Kinnick 7 times a year, so it's a little payback, if you will. And this seemed like a good way to do it. It's a more limited group of our players, yet we're reaching not only younger people, but all these kids have parents that came too. So I think it's a nice way to just kind of interact with people of all ages, and hopefully have a feel good type day.
And you're saying Parker's gonna be okay for June?
He should be fine. Yeah, he should be ready to roll.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay.
Thanks everyone for coming out. Appreciate it.